Hello and welcome to Cranbrook's Local History for Children. Today we're going to investigate crime and punishment. I'm starting here with the old Cranbrook lockup. This building, which is like a very strong shed, currently stands in the garden at the museum, as you can see. But originally it was located at St David's Bridge near the entrance to the Tanyard car park. It has a very strong barred door. It has two very tiny windows, as you can see, and it was mainly used as a place where drunk people or the disorderly people could be locked up overnight and hopefully wouldn't want to repeat their crime, as it must have been a very uncomfortable and humiliating experience. Then in 1850 it was decided a proper police station was needed, which was to have 2 prison cells and a room for a police constable. It was built just up the road from the old lockup on the hill. It had a short life as a police station though, because it wasn't long, 1863 in fact, when a new police station was built to replace it. It was much larger and is on the site of what is now the dining hall of Cranbrook School in Waterloo Road. There were lots more policemen then to enforce the law in Cranbrook and in the surrounding villages. And so that's where the police station remained, with its familiar blue light outside, for probably 100 years or so, until it was replaced by this one in the 1960s in Wheatfield Drive. I'm back in the museum on the top floor, where I can show you a few things to do with the police in the old days in Cranbrook. Can you see that lantern behind me? That was the old lantern that was outside the police station that was in Waterloo Road, back in the 19th and early 20th century. And here in this case are some old Victorian handcuffs, and up here on the wall we have a photograph of the Kent County Constabulary 1934, who were based at Cranbrook Police Station. What a lot of policemen there were. 14 constables, 5 sergeants, a superintendent, a detective. What differences can you see between their uniforms and police uniforms today? And in what ways do you think their jobs were different? Oh, and one more question. Can you investigate the different kinds of helmets and hats which the police have worn since the original stovepipe hat, which was worn by the first policeman in 1829? I've been looking at some old newspapers in the museum, and I found a very interesting one here from 1906, which goes some way to showing the sort of things that our policemen got up to. It says, "Man captured in a wood. A considerable sensation has been caused during the last week in the neighbourhood of Flishinghurst and Angley Park by several attempts to break into a house at night. At Four Wents, a resident was disturbed on Tuesday by hearing noises at 3 o'clock in the morning, and again at about 7 o'clock when he went downstairs and found a man had broken open a lattice window and was trying to take a leg of mutton. The man, on being discovered, beat a hasty retreat down the road, where it was afterwards discovered that another house had been broken into and some beef and 5 or 6 jam tarts had been stolen. On Saturday, a house was also broken into and about 1.5 pounds of cheese, some bread and a pocket knife was stolen. Information was given to PC Brooke on Tuesday, and Superintendent Fowle immediately proceeded with all available constables on bicycles and on foot to scour the roads in all directions. Getting no trace of the man, they concluded he must be hiding in Angley Woods, and early on Wednesday morning the officers made a vigilant search of the wood and the vicinity, with the result being that at 10 o'clock PC Brooke arrested a man. Goodness me, what excitement! He was then taken to Cranbrook magistrates. In the early 1900s, the magistrates' courts were held in the vestry hall, and this chair, which we have in the museum, was the chair that the magistrates sat in. It looks like it's for a giant, doesn't it? It was big and important to reflect the authority of the person who was deciding what would happen to the person who was charged with a crime. I've been reading about another rather chilling crime too. In 1741, sheep stealing was made a crime punishable by death. William Pullen, a Cranbrook man, was found guilty of stealing a sheep by a jury in Maidstone. He was hung on Pennenden Heath, and his body was brought back to Cranbrook. where it was buried in the churchyard, and it's said his tomb was in full view of the front door of his accuser. From the old lockup to the modern police station, there are plenty of stories to be found in the history of crime and punishment in Cranbrook.